Hello, this is Kevin Kelly, windbreakologist with windbreaktrees.com. Today we're going to talk a little bit about trimming. We're going to talk about mainly trimming your Norway spruce, or all spruces, and your firs. These are the two trees that can be trimmed in the fall or in the early spring. We do not recommend trimming the spruce or the firs during the growing season, and that would be the time period from April 15th till August 15th. Do not trim them during that time. It puts too much stress on the tree. If you're going to plant a new tree, like this one here, a potted tree, we do recommend a little bit of a trim on those when you first get them in the ground. Very easy to do. We like to just take 1 inch off the end of that growth there. So we're going to go around here, just nip off 1 inch here. We never cut off more than 1 inch. There's no reason to. So we're going to go around, take off 1 inch on these main outside ones here. And then we're going to go ahead and plant that tree. And what that does, it lessens the stress on the tree. It doesn't have to put out all that stuff on the ends. It mainly works on its root system the first year. So that's what we want. Now if we were going to plant a bare root transplant tree, we would not put any kind of, do any kind of trimming to that. Now sometimes when the trees get a little bigger, here we have a larger Norway spruce, they get a little bit more open. Sometimes you get more growth on one side of the tree than the other. So how do we want to trim this one to kind of thicken it up a little bit? Again, no more than 1 inch off the ends, and that's just that much right there. It's only 1 inch. So we would go around here, we would take 1 inch off these ends. Very simple to do. And that works good because we've got lots of other buds along this shaft here. So that is, it will sprout that out and it will kind of thicken this up. But again, go around your tree, 1 inch off the ends, no more. And that will take care of that. The correct time we think for trimming, again, we don't do it during the growing season, but we like to trim in Iowa here, about March 15th to April 15th is a good time period, that month there. Or in the fall, we tend to trim between August 15th and September 15th. And this is the best time to trim your firs and your spruce trees. Again, 1 inch. Don't be chopping off a whole bunch. It puts too much stress on the tree. We've got a nice top there with a single leader, and that looks good. We would probably go ahead and take 1 inch off these here. But we'll go ahead and leave that top, and we can keep our height going up. Now if we would have a double leader, let's move over here. We'll show you what we would do. Here we have our a Canaan fir tree, which happens to be my favorite kind of a fir. We grow a lot of these for Christmas trees. But if we had this in any kind of a spruce or a fir tree, and you can see here we've got a double leader started. This would have been put on probably 2 years ago. And we want to get rid of one of those if we're going to use this for a windbreak tree, because that's a very weak joint there. That can break off. So which one do we take off? Well, normally I just say, look at them, leave the strongest one and take off the one that's not as strong. But these are just about even. So it's not going to make a lot of difference. So then we go by which way the prevailing wind is. In Iowa, the prevailing wind tends to be from a westerly direction, southwest, west, or northwest. So this side here is a little bit more on the west side. So we want to take off the one on the east side, as this will heal up better, and that's a stronger joint there. I got my little handy saw here. We're going to go ahead and show you how to just take that off. There we go. That's all there is to it. We're going to take this part off. That's going to heal up here in a short amount of time, and then we'll eliminate this weak joint. Again, if we wanted to thicken this up, we would go ahead and take 1 inch off these here. But that's all we have to do, get rid of that, and you preserve that tree so it will not have that weak joint in it. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about maintaining a central leader on our windbreak trees. very important. We don't want several leaders because it makes a weak spot. It's more likely to break off. Now, this one here is a nice fir tree, and it's got 3 main leaders coming up. So what happened to it? Well, if we go down here and look, looks like probably last year we had a pretty big windstorm. Maybe the leader was broken off, or a bird landed in it. And sometimes they'll break them off. And when that happens, a lot of times they make 2 or 3 different leaders. So how do we get down to one central leader again? Very simple. I like to just pick out the strongest one. Or if they're all the same, I usually will pick out the one on the west side, which is going to be usually the strongest for the long term. So on these here, this one's probably just a little stronger. So this is just 1 year's growth here. So I'm going to go up about halfway and cut about half of it off. So I'm going to make a flat cut on that. I'm going to come over to this other one and I'm going to make a flat cut. What that essentially does is it sends a message to this one to be the new leader. And a lot of times I will go around and take an inch off these other little ends here. Won't hurt it any, and it'll just help stimulate that main leader again. Now sometimes we have a bigger tree. Like our tree here, we got, it's got kind of a double leader, which probably was hurt also from the strong winds we had. I got this handy little thing here. You could get a ladder, you could do something like that. But we got this one here, so we're going to get up there, and again, this is all the new growth from here to here. So we're going to come down about halfway. We're going to try to make a nice little flat cut like that. That will stimulate that new one to be the new leader. And we'll take care of our problems of our double leaders, which we don't want on our windbreak trees, as it makes a weak spot. Again, if you have any questions on a certain tree, maybe you're wondering if something should be done to it, just take a picture of it and email it to us. We'll take a look at it. Most of the time we can tell you what to do over the internet. And we're going to continue our talk about trimming our spruce and fir trees. We're going to talk a little bit about damage to the trees. What kind of trimming should you do after they've been damaged? As you can see, this tree is what we call damaged. We had our derecho 1 year ago, winds of 130 miles an hour. Probably half of our windbreak trees, the top snapped off. And as weird as that looks, we do not recommend that you take out the tree. You've still got a lot of green foliage down low, and what we have seen after doing this for 50 years is that those branches on the top will curl up and they'll make some kind of a new top. And if you look at them, you can kind of see they're already, some of them are starting to curl up, and they will, surprisingly, that branch will straighten out and will become a new leader. The main thing is that you take that top off that's dead, where it broke off. This one here broke off right at a junction where we had a V in there. We didn't take that out when we should have, and so that was a weak spot, and that caused it to break. You can see this thing has almost got a part in it. The branches have just twisted around. Again, the tree will be fine. Do not take it out or try to do too much with it. Just let it go. You kind of pull those branches back a little bit if you want to kind of stretch them back a little bit, and that sure wouldn't hurt. And we've done that before, but we've just got so many of them damaged that we just aren't doing that. And like this one here, you could take this and kind of stretch that out a little bit. This will kind of help to let it come back. But surprisingly, with time, these do straighten out. So again, if you have severe damage, do not talk to a tree trimming person. Why? Because they make money taking trees out. That's their business. They're going to tell you to take that tree out. We recommend that you do not take the tree out. If it's in a windbreak, it's going to survive, it's going to come back, it's going to make a new top, and you're going to be a lot happier than trying to start all over with a windbreak. If you want to move in here a little closer, we're going to talk about deer damaged trees. We have a lot of trees that are deer damaged. The bucks come in the fall. This is usually a September to December kind of a thing. They get their horns in here, they start rubbing on it, and inevitably they break the top off or destroy the whole tree. We've seen them completely broken off, clear to ground level. So many times people think that they have to replace the whole tree. and we do not recommend that again. The tree can survive with a little bit of help. So what do? What we like to do is we will take this broken part, we will go ahead and cut that off. We've still got a little bit of a stem here where that originally was, but we will take the next best branch, the next healthiest branch. You know what, this one here looks pretty darn good. So what we're going to do, we would take a little piece of cloth, string, something that's not permanent. We like to use something that will rot with time. We don't recommend wire or heavy rope because it just will not do what you want to do. It'll be on there too long. So many times we have people all the time that are calling us saying, something happened to my tree, then they forgot. They put a wire or a piece of string around there, and with time that will constrict on that and will hurt the tree and kill that branch. So what we recommend, again, tie up the next best branch, and then we recommend that you go around the tree, and again, the 1 inch rule. Take 1 inch off all these ends. Okay? But do not take it off the one you want to be the new leader. Do not take it off this new one here. So we would go around, we're going to snip all these off. And what does this do? What this does is it signals to the tree that this one is still viable. And it's got that new top on it. We're pulling that up like that. That tree will take off. This tree will take off in just a couple of years. You won't even be able to tell it had any damage done to it. It's amazing how that works, but it does. And then at that time, maybe the branch or the cloth that you put on there, whatever you used, had rotted off, and whatever stem you had left, you want to get in there and cut that off back to the stem, that stub, I guess we would call it. Cut it clear back to the stem so that that can heal over. Again, easy to do. Do not throw your tree out. We recommend you do this even if they're broken off clear down to here. You can get a good limb to come out because you have an established root system. Take advantage of your roots. It will really come back in a really fast way there. That's all I have with this segment of trimming our spruce and fir trees. This is Kevin Kelly, windbreakologist with windbreaktrees.com. If you have any questions, go ahead and get on our website and drop us an email. We have a lot of people that call us all over the world on different issues. And after 50 years of doing this, we've probably seen almost everything. And we've got a good idea on what we can recommend that will work in your situation. Thank you for viewing my video, and have a great day.